If you look at where society's gone, the last 25 years, maybe even a little further back than that, it just seems to me that everything is about making money and consuming as much as you possibly can. And I don't think that that's the path to happiness. The path to happiness is building something, creation. It's not how much can I consume. The happiest people I have ever met were not people who consumed the most. They were people who were building something. The soul can never be satiated with materialism. If I get a Lamborghini or a new car, 2 or 3 weeks down the road, I'm going to start looking for another Lamborghini. I'm looking for another upgrade. 2 or 3 weeks down the road, that new car just becomes my car. It no longer feels special. And therefore, I want something else. But when you're building something from scratch, creating something, it just brings a sense of purpose in your life. And creation isn't mutually exclusive to arts. I'm not talking about writing a book or being a musician or being an actor. I'm talking about building something. Having a garden is creation. Cooking a great meal is creation. Having children are creation. In fact, it's embedded in us biologically to want to have children. Why is that? Because we were made to create. Sex rules the world. It's literally embedded in us. The psychologist Carl Jung, I think that's how you say it, said that all energy is sexual energy. Literally, creation is the backbone to every motivation that most human beings have. However, most of us don't create anymore. We get into routines, we do what we have to do to make money, and then we go home and buy things on Amazon and consume television and consume social media, but we never create anything. And then we look in the mirror and wonder why we're miserable. It's because we lack that creation. And there's 3 types of creation, at least in my opinion. There's the imagination, where you imagine something, you have an idea or a thought, like a novel idea or a painting or a musical piece, and you turn that idea into something abstract. Then you have creation with the hands. That's building furniture, making a garden, cooking food, buying something at Lowe's and putting it together in your living room. That's all creation. You are literally changing the environment around you when you build something with your hands, because it's there and it wasn't there before you started building it. That's why I think construction is really cool, because, you look at a vacant lot and then, 6 to 12 months later, well, shorter than that now because they put them up so fast, you have a house. And literally, the world is physically different from that. And the last one is creation with the body. Creation with the body is the most obvious ones to one I talked about. That's making another human being. That's what we're all inclined to do. And when we create, we are emulating God. In Genesis, the first thing God did was create. And so the reason I just think so many people are miserable now is because they get caught in routine. Go to work, make your money, come home, consume television, consume DoorDash, consume social media, consume other people's attention, when you're dating. And you never create anything. You don't have any hobbies. You're not trying to build something. You're not challenging yourself. And I think those people are the happiest. When I started writing, I was worried about judgment, the uncertainty of it. 99% of the time, I'm never satisfied with it. But every now and then I write something and I'm like, man, that was fire. Like, I'm really happy with that. And it makes you feel good. Like, nothing ever can make you feel better than when you create something and then you get to look at it. I mean, think about a mother holding a child as soon as it's born. That's the ultimate joy. Two parents, the father probably feels it too, if he's not a deadbeat. And, you know, I just think that's where happiness comes from. And there's just too much tied to success. Well, if I'm going to try something, I have to be successful at it. It's not about being successful. That's in God's hands. It's about creating, because that brings meaning to your life. That is the emulation of God. You know, some of the greatest artists that ever lived never got recognition in their life. I was watching Netflix the other day, and they had the Van Gogh cartoon thing where it was like, it looked like his paintings. It was abstract. And they talked about the last few days of his life. And one thing I thought was so interesting about that was he only sold one painting in his whole entire life. And now he's probably the most celebrated painter to ever live. What a beautiful thing. But he never did it because he was thinking about all the money he could make. He did it because he wanted to create. And he was miserable, ironically. But I think he was still satisfied. He just had mental issues. But I can just say for myself that when I make things and create things, it's hellish going through the process. But when you finish, you always feel better. And, you know, I don't know why that is. But it just comes back to this real true belief that human beings were made to create. And I really encourage anyone who watches this to give it a try. Just create something. Even if it's just like a nice meal. Create something. And I promise you'll feel better.